Hello guys, let's talk about one of the most useful artifacts in the entire game, which in my opinion did not really get the attention it deserved, especially when ranks 200 were released, it did not really get recognized. The artifact I'm talking about is the Claw of Aelkhund, one of the most useful artifacts in the entire game. One of the reasons why it did not really get recognized when ranks 200 came out, maybe the fact that there is no current survival mode going on. So yeah, like I said, survival mode. Why was it good for survival mode? Just because you're buffing your entire group, meaning giving the tanks dominance, restoration, hero dominance, restoration, but also buffing your DPS, red might, and you could run battle tank stuff, battle troll armories, battle healer. So you could really vary with your loadouts and playstyles. And rank 200 wasn't really in a big hype, although it is not justified because rank 200 gives you 5% crits and also buffs your power regen for the group, although it's still lacking a little bit of power. Okay, so what is the main difference between rank 160 and 200 now? Well, first of all, it's the crits. You will apply 5% critical chance and also magnitude to all of your group members for 12 seconds. So if you keep up your group weapon buff as a troll, it should be fine. And then there is the 3% vit for every group member as well, just to compensate your lack of power, because you will still have less power in comparison if you not run a claw. And you should also keep in mind, if you run a claw, in terms of power, it can be critical and risky when you have a soul heal, for example. And because the game is currently in a crit heavy state and also in a crit meta, if you want to call it like that, I think the artifact is really good because let's put out those artifacts, those cores first. As a DPS, you normally should have this 106 damage, which is magnitude basically, and chance 20%, 26%. So with the claw, you will buff everything up with 5%. So even as support roles like healers, trolls, tanks, you will benefit. I mean, technically there's no full tank, but they may benefit from those too, maybe. And also there are currently the new cores giving you 5%, 4% critical chance as well. So imagine those new cores in combination with the claw, in combination with the new artifact, the transformation card, which also gives you I believe 30% damage, which is basically magnitude as well, once again, and 20% chance. So you would buff everything up by, I mean, it's a lot. Don't know that by top of my head, but it's a lot. I can do the calculations later, but yeah, that's why I think it's a really good artifact. Okay, so to demonstrate and highlight the difference between buffed and non-buffed, I decided to choose three acrobatic movement abilities. Actually, it doesn't matter what, I just choose three abilities basically, and yeah, at around 57k roughly, and with the Grammarian, but this shouldn't matter. And yeah, I would just attack and do about, yeah, let's say 4 or 5 pauses, 10-second pauses, and then after that, the buffed version. So just to see the difference between unbuffed and buffed. Okay, let's say 5. Like those 21 average passes, I got them before, so the average is about 21k. One more. Alright, so yeah, the average is about 21k if you like add those 3 and then divide by 3. Okay, so now we're gonna do the buffed version, still with the scrap on. So the might will rise up to nearly 60k. Buff. Okay, let's see. Like, yeah, this is like typical. Instantly 4 crits in a row. It's really noticeable. So many more crits. Like, first pauser 28k. I mean, okay, 23 still above. I mean, only after 2 pauses you can see the difference. Okay, 20k, nearly 21. I mean, it depends on crits, of course, but it's still above, and only with the 3 abilities. Let's do one more. I mean, you can see the difference here. So, let's see. Crits, like the 28k was 33, 16, then 11, 16 again, 27. And the unbuffed version was 17, 23, 11, only 5. And, yeah, like around 11-ish. So you can see the difference here.
Please keep your distance from my heart. No, I insist I made it to parts. Oh, and I've been taking care of myself for so long. I miss my mother and my home, they're all gone. And it's because of me and my father, a so-called father. He's not my father. Are you listening? You can always unleash Trigon from me. That's why I'm hidden. It's best for all of us if I feel silently. There's gotta be another way out. There's gotta be another way out. There's gotta be another way out. There's gotta be another way.
As promised, I have listed up all like crits you can gain with the claw, with the new course, with the new artifact. The standard setup, like the basic stats, the regular stats you have, as I mentioned before, 26 chance, 106 magnitude, and then with the claw, everything buffed by 5%. And then with the new course, 4% on top of chance only. And then with the transformation card, chance buffed by 20% and then 30% on top of magnitude. And I mean, you can see the big difference here. You've almost, I mean, you've already doubled the chance. So theoretically, you will do at least 1 crit within 2 hits. And before you will only do 1 crit within 4 hits, like theoretically. And magnitude also like hmm, 35% more. I mean, this is a lot. When it comes to the claw as a troll, there are a few limitations and throwbacks. What I mean by that is a lot of troll were the parasite, either the parasite or the amulet. But if you were like, let's say, the parasite, uh, you compensate the lack of the power a little bit by giving power equal to an in like based amount of fighter, and also supporting the group with a little bit of frag, good for flourish up players, frag players. But then again, like if you wear this one, you should be also wearing the amulet just for the debuffs. Like in the combination between amulet and parasite is just perfect, just because of the debuffs. So you keep spamming the debuffs, and like the synergy is really fine. But then again, if you run the amulet instead of, let's say, the scrap, because you have to sacrifice the scrap, like um in my opinion, you still need to scrap because often you come to the point where power isn't enough. Like if you get into a critical situation, like you only have one healer left, he needs to drain a lot of power. Also, tanks drain some power, and you need to pop your supercharge just to supply the group with power again to fill up your boss. And that's why you're kind of restricted and limited in terms of artifacts. So yeah, that's like the throwback to backslash. But like the positive side of the claw is that you can technically be an yeah like an additional DPS. Um, you can either be Prag or Might. Like you can abuse the Might buff, so it can be a Might Battle Troll if you want to call it like that. You can wear the neck mod, the Might neck mod, if you want the Might augments, cores and stuff. You can mix it up and still have a fairly high, good amount of Might. Like 46, 47 Might isn't too bad at all if you ask me. And you can also deal nice damage at the same time and still like because you are debuffing and your debuffs deal damage. So that's a positive aspect for the claw. Okay guys, let's sum everything up. Ravening Claw makes you, as Troll, fulfill the role as a support. I mean, you support the group with buffs. You cause for higher damage output overall, and you are also buffing the group and also embodying basically an additional DPS. You have to sacrifice a small amount of power output, but that's not lethal at all. I mean, it's not that significant. It's not like you're gonna die because you don't have a lot of power. In the background, you can see a speed run of the latest do, where you may see the difference with the claw as a battle DPS. And thanks for watching, guys. Please leave your opinion about the claw in the comments if you want to. See ya.